Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about every single C tier or higher event that happened this weekend in Smash Ultimate, and there was 10 of them. We're going to be trying to do every event in under a minute, and let's just get into it. Our first event is going to be Frosty Failsafe 2024, and I should specify that every single event is going to be a C tier, unless I say it's not a C tier, and our top 8 for this one is going to be Yoda Cage and Icon in 7th, Atada and Deli Boyd in 5th, Ned in 4th, Ling in 3rd, Goblin in 2nd, and winning the entire thing was Riddles. We had 2 top 8 seeds not getting into the top 8. They were Grayson falling to Deli Board and Radicious, and Raven King falling to Yoda Cage and Icon. And I gotta talk about that Deli Board run. He was able to beat Grayson, Smirk, and Icon on his run to 5th place using, I believe, solo Toon Link. Toon Link has just been getting better and better, and I'm starting to see this character slowly rise to the tier list, and I really hate it because I want to believe that Toon Link is bad, but the Toon Link players, they just keep proving me wrong. Goblin, very impressed by their run at this tournament. Goblin's a player with such a high ceiling, but they're just not always matching that ceiling, and hopefully in 2024 we can see more runs like this. And Riddles, of course, is going to be the back-to-back Frosty Fausting champ, only dropping 2 games, 1 to Ling in the winners finals and 1 to Goblin in the grand finals. Big props to him for the win. Our next tournament is going to be Super Elite Monthly Series XII, and our top 8 finishers are Z and Smock in 7th, Remrin and Soar in 5th, Cake in 4th, Babino in 3rd, Armadillo in 2nd, and MK Leo, he decided to play a little trip to Canada, and of course he ended up winning the event. Our only top 8 seed who didn't get into the top 8 was Venom. He ends up losing to Nerd Cedric and Beastie, and let's talk about MK Leo because Canada did really good versus him. Both Z and Soar managed to take him to Game 5, and Armadillo, after having a very nice losers run, he ends up losing to Babino in the winner's quarter side, makes it all the way back to the grand finals, where he manages to 3-0 MK Leo, and even though he loses the reset, that is very impressive. And he wasn't the only low tier hero to beat MK Leo this weekend, because at the pre-local, Remrin managed to beat him with Mewtwo, also in the grand finals, and she did end up getting 3-0'd in the reset, but that's not what matters. She beat MK Leo with Mewtwo. She is the best Mewtwo player in the world, and hopefully she's going to put that character on her back in 2024, because Lord knows he needs representation. Our next tournament is going to be Push the Limit 28, and our top 8 finishers are Vidad and Scott in 7th, Antimony and Just Blue in 5th, Luxa in 4th, Huampi in 3rd, Mars in 2nd, and winning the entire thing was Light. Our top 8 seeds that didn't get into the top 8 were DM, who ended up losing to Scott and Luxa. Both players got into the top 8, not the end of the world, and App Revere, who lost to Mook the Handsome and Benite McDonald Blanc, and amazing names, by the way. And I gotta give a huge highlight to Huampi because he had a very competitive set with Light. He absolutely could have won that one, and Light has been pretty good historically versus Palutena, so massive props to him for that. And he played Banjo versus Mars in the losers finals, and I very much so appreciate that one. But the main highlight for this tournament is definitely going to be Mars and Light playing. These guys are just so good. They played so many times, and their sets are always bangers. In the winners finals, it was a 3-1 in Light's favor, and in the grand finals, it was a 3-2 in Light's favor. So maybe we're seeing a little bit of a return from Mars because he's been going to a lot more locals. He's going to King Con. 2024 might be an interesting year. Our next tournament is Failsafe Winter 2024, and straight up, this one was crazy. Our top 8 finishers are Pharaoh and Seal in 7th, Rivers and Beast in 5th, Gawk and Myrari in 4th, Guy in 3rd, Syrup in 2nd, and winning the entire thing was Zomba. Our top 8 seeds that didn't get into the top 8 were Girly Teen Queen, who ended up going 1 and 2, losing to Haze and Sinister, Web JP, who also ended up going 1 and 2, losing to Yellow Salami and Tab Soda, and MPG, who went 2 and 2, losing to Seal and Gawk in Myrari. And we got to talk about this Gawk in Myrari losers run because it is heroic. He was able to win 6 sets in a row over players like MVG, PK Chris, Minty Flesh, Seal, and that's with solo Ducat, at least to my knowledge, solo Ducat, which is pretty absurd. And I bring up Minty Flesh there because he beat Zomba at this event. Minty Flesh beat Zomba 2-1 in Mega Man vs. Rob, but you'll notice Zomba still won the event, and that's because he won 9 sets in a row, including 2 wins over Syrup, Guy, Gawk, and Myrari, Beast, Pharaoh. He just popped off so hard once he got into the loser side. Our next tournament is going to be Back to School 24, and our top 8 finishers are Ryu Poblex and Kesme or Sesame in 7th, Cormeme and Blaze in 5th, Mr. F in 4th, Lucifer in 3rd, Romeo Santos in 2nd, and winning the entire thing was Wolfen. And our top 8 seeds that didn't get in the top 8 were Espinoza, who ended up losing to Ryu Poblex and Sesame, and Zapphire, who ended up losing to Gantz and Blaze. Both of them ended up getting 9th place, and straight up, the tournament was kind of boring in terms of the placements. The top 4 seeds all got into the top 4. We only had 2 top 8 seeds not getting into the top 8, and both of them got 9th. But this top 8 was a banger. We had so many fun characters in this top 8. You're going to have Ryu Poplex on Lucario, even though he was only there for a little bit. You're going to have Blaze on the Bayonetta. I like me some Snake, so I was enjoying Cormeme. It's always nice to see Roy from Mr. F. And straight up, I love watching Wolfen. I need to see this guy travel because the title for the best Falco in the world is already a very interesting one. And I think if Wolfen gets more experience outside of his region and he's able to travel a little bit more and show how good he is, he could be entered into that conversation. And I should also mention that his Banjo and Kazuya are also snashy. I just saw Falco doing the most work this tournament. Our next tournament is going to be January 2024, but spelt with Nair instead of the normal way, and I thought that was pretty clever. Our top 8 finishers are Ludo and JDV in 7th, Opsign and Jojo the Hobo in 5th, Sawstep in 4th, Embo Z in 3rd, Lemon in 2nd, and winning the entire thing was Ouch. Our top 8 seeds that didn't get into the top 8 were Machu, who ended up losing to Opsign and Jojo, and Big D, who ended up losing to Ed Dog and Jovan. And I gotta give a huge shout out to Sawstep. He definitely had the run of the tournament, at least in my opinion. Maybe him or Lemon. He was able to pick up wins on JDV, Lemon himself, and Jojo the Hobo before falling to Lemon in the run back, and he lost to Ouch in the winner's side. And I'm pretty sure this was solo pit, so massive props to him for that. You gotta give props to Lemon for his run as well. He loses in the winner's quarterfinals to Sawstep, like I mentioned. Then he beats Jovan, Ludo, Opsign, Sawstep, and Embo Z to be able to make it back to Ouch. But it's Ouch at a regional. This guy is pretty much untouchable if the event is a C tier or a B tier. So spoilers, he won. But I do got to give a shout out to Major for taking him to Game 5. Best Ganon. Our next tournament is going to be White Phoenix Nakoinal, and our 7th place finishers are Rafita and Subasa. In 5th place, you're going to have Braxton and Peppa. 4th place is Lord. 3rd place is Keen. 2nd place is Castle, and winning the entire thing was Wise. Our top 8 seeds that didn't get into the top 8 were iBet, who ended up losing to Rafita and El Manu, and Blast, who ended up losing to Lesos and Dandelion. And I got to give a massive shout out to Subasa's losers run. He popped off super hard, winning 5 sets in a row, beating players like Tuxedo and Poison as well as Wakanda, and then he ends up losing a game 5 set to Castle, but very competitive in that top 8. And this is another situation where there's just a really good top 8 to watch. We had a B Brawler in there from Rafita. You're going to have Braxton on the Jigglypuff, and of course you have Wise with Luigi. This guy is so good. I really need to see him travel. 2024 might be the year of the Luigi because all of these Luigi players are doing incredibly well. He only dropped 2 games the entire tournament, and both of them were in the winners finals to Keen. So shouts to Keen because he did more work than literally anyone else. I forgot to mention this when talking about fun characters in the top 8, but Lord was also playing Ike, so shouts to him. Our next tournament is going to be Kosas Shuma, and our top 8 finishers are Kurafun and Ayalin in 7th, Hiro and Juso in 5th, Rimu in 4th, Neo in 3rd, Yamanakshin in 2nd, and winning the entire thing was Taikei. And our top 8 seeds that didn't get into the top 8 were Terrakotori, who ended up losing to Hiro and Ayalin, but he still got 9th place with mainly Little Mac. I know he plays a little bit ages now, but I'm going to say it was solo Little Mac. And then LY or Lai is going to be our other top 8 seed that didn't get in there, losing to Takai and Kurafun. And I really just want to focus on the top 3 of this tournament because I think these guys are all going to have amazing 2023s. We've already seen him be on an upward trend, especially now he's going to be ranked top 30 on the Lumirank. Really his first year being a super high level competitor, which is very impressive. You're also going to see both Yamanakshin and Taikei sneaking on there, and I think they're only going to increase going into this year because not only are they playing amazing characters in the meta, being Sonic, Core, and Steve, and then Yamanakshin has some other characters as well, but they're all just very talented. Our next tournament is going to be Hiab Bra number 24, and our top 8 finishers are going to be Beji and Duka in 7th, Almari and Noko Bros in 5th, Roki in 4th, Osimo in 3rd, Yaura in 2nd, and winning the entire thing was Hurt. And this is the tournament with the most top 8 seeds not getting into the top 8. You got Shisho losing to Tom and Omari, Renji losing to Duka and Heshi, Tom losing to Yon and Yu, and Akaki losing to Noko Bros and Roki. And the low tiers popped off in this event. You're going to have Roki getting 4th place, and he's been doing this a lot recently, so it's not as big of a deal, but it's still very impressive to get this far in a tournament with Isabel. He is the best Isabel in the world at this point, and it's pretty much uncontested. Almari, though, seemingly out of nowhere, pops off super hard with DDD. You don't see DDD too often nowadays, but it's even rare to see the DDD players actually doing well, so big props to him for that. Noko Bros fighting to be the best Pikachu player in Japan. Not a heavily contested title, but still an impressive one to hold. And then the big 3 this event, shocker, all got the top 3. Osimo, Yaura, and Hurt. These players are all top 20 in the world. They could be potentially top 10 in the world going into 2024, especially Hurt. And I'm really interested to see how those guys do. And our final tournament is going to be Alt Core number 2, and it's also the only event that was not a C tier that we've listed. This one's going to be coming in at a B+ tier, and our top 8 finishers are Masa and Aka in 7th, Fui and Tsubaki in 5th, Snow in 4th, Tama P in 3rd, Riziasu in 2nd, and winning the entire thing was Gluttony. Our top 8 teams that didn't get into the top 8 were level 1, who ended up losing to Carmelo and Aka, Toraguri, who ended up losing to Goryoka and Tsubaki, and Apollo Kage, who ended up losing to Masa and Fui. So let's talk about Apollo Kage's Japan trip. It wasn't super great in terms of placements aside from Cafeteria Cup, but his play looks significantly better. Just in terms of the neutral and how he's moving around with grenades, it feels like he has learned a lot from the Japanese tanks, because that's always been the aspect that they were the strongest in, and Apollo Kage's best aspect was his boxing. He was just so good up close, and now that you've combined those things, he is going to be a very scary player in 2024. I'm really excited to see him at his next event, and I gotta give a shout out to Fui. This guy is the GOAT. He had a crazy run at this tournament, beating Lax, Apollo Kage, Dio, and Aka, only losing to Snow and Gluttony for 5th place. Like, he has gotten significantly better recently. All the Yoshi players have just been absolutely popping off. I don't know what's in the water in Japan, but it makes you good at Yoshi. Aka's going to have a pretty solid losers run, winning 5 sets in a row, beating level 1 Karage and Goryoka. And really quickly, just massive shouts to Goryoka, Karage, and Carmelo. These guys are all on the rise, and I wouldn't be shocked if we started seeing them a bunch in these top 8s at these big events. And Tama P, this guy has just been on such a tear. I really do believe that Tama P is potentially going to be the best Bayonetta player in the entire world by the end of 2024, maybe even halfway through the year. He's just so incredible with this character. I've praised him so much already in other videos that I won't spend too much time on it here, but Tama P, very good. I also think that Snow has the chance to be the best Mario player in the world. It's going to be a little bit of Kurama staying in his slump, but if Snow keeps improving the way that he does and he keeps getting the placements that he does, I could definitely see him taking that spot, because he's just been incredible. And our grand finalists are Riziasu in 2nd and Gluttony, of course, in 1st. Riziasu was able to pick up wins on Tora, Kurabon, Dio, and 2 wins on Tama P. And Gluttony did not drop a single set. He beat Keiru, Fui. Fui was the only player who took him to game 5, by the way, so that's why he's the GOAT even more, as well as Masa to get into the top 8, and then once in the top 8, he beat Snow and Riziasu twice, 6-0'd Riziasu versus a lot of different characters. And Gluttony's Japan trip overall, I think, still was pretty good. He's going to have that amazing top 3 Umabora, and Cafeteria Cup and Kowloon works amazing, but this is a really nice way to end it off. And with that, I thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If I left out anything in this video, and I probably did because we covered 10 tournaments in pretty much 10 minutes, just leave a comment down below. I'll be sure to tell you what I think. And while you're down there, be sure to sub, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.